Let us get into the another useful topic in Python, not just Python. This is a topic every software engineer should learn. Okay, what is that? Integrating Git and GitHub and Git. Let's take this. So the topic is GitHub and Git. Maybe we will integrate that again with PyCharm, everything. First, understand that, and then we just start working on these things. And without this, you cannot imagine development in most of the companies. Okay. Maybe in place of GitHub, sometimes they use something called Bitbucket or something like that. Repositories might be different, vendors might be different, but the concept is same. For all this, Git will be same again. So GitHub integration with Python, with PyCharm. It is very simple, friends. Integrating with PyCharm is much more easier than working in a command environment. I'll show you both approaches. Today, we start with understanding what is GitHub and the purpose of GitHub, all that, and also how to create account in GitHub. And then after that, how to create repository in GitHub. Maybe all when I am discussing or saying all this, you might think, oh, we should do these many things. But in reality, all these are very simple, friends. Just trust me. Because we don't have any coding or anything here. Just we need to do a navigation, that's all, from one stage to another stage. Okay. So, but before that, what is a Git here? As per your knowledge and my knowledge, what is that? What is GitHub? Sorry, not Git. What is GitHub? Just in simple terms. Let's not go into too technical. Let's not have too technical discussion here. Just make it simple and understand it quickly. That's all. GitHub is simply speaking is something like what we can say. It is like a cloud environment where you have group of repositories. You can create group of repositories inside a GitHub. You got it right. So that is something. So simply speaking, GitHub is a cloud environment. Simply speaking, cloud means you don't have anything. You don't keep that in your machine. It is somewhere right managed by the GitHub team. Right? Maybe it might that server might be in Hyderabad, or it might be in Bombay, or it might be in US, or it might be in Finland or Iceland, anywhere. We don't know. So, but it is a cloud environment. It is a cloud, right? Platform. What is that it does, friends? It allows us to manage our projects by allowing us to create repositories. What is right platform, which allows us right to manage our projects. How it allows us to manage our projects by creating. So, right, what do we do here? By creating repositories. Repository means, you know, what is a repository? Where we store something, right? Repositories or repository, or you can say IES, anything should be fine. This is just in a simple word. This one is this, right? So this is one thing, friends. Next one after that, maybe I'll just quickly show you this. I just have a quick documentation here. What is that? It is a web-based platform or cloud platform, in fact. So two important things about GitHub is version control and collaboration. Why? Because in a real environment, many developers will be working. So, and all developers will be using same GitHub, same repositories. Not to have conflict between one developer code and another developer code. What is that? This version control is introduced. So that suppose I checked out my code and had made some changes and checked in. So that there will be a version for my code with my name. Similarly, someone X is trying to check out the code and make some changes and again check in back. There will be a version created for that person. In that way, if there are 10 developers, they say the code belongs to the same project or it might be the same file as well. But when 10 developers try to access one file and make changes to that file, 10 versions are created. I will show that with a small paint diagram as well, but just giving you a quick idea, right? So that's the what we call version control. I'll show you quickly. I'll explain in the paint as well. And collaboration. Collaboration means what it does is it helps us to do some I mean, group of people working together on something is a collaboration here. Like here, especially developers or testers or different kinds of software engineers try to use this kind of GitHub platforms. Okay, this are we call this as code repositories. So GitHub is one simple in one such code repository. Okay, and what it helps us enables developers to store, manage, and track code repositories using what something called Git. So we place all our code in the GitHub, and that too we create repositories as per our project needs. Suppose I am working in 10 projects, then I create 10 repositories. And that too again, if we have again environments like dev environment, QA environment, again we create one more branch for each one like that. Okay. So, and this is an open source, friends. Probably this belongs to Microsoft if I am not wrong. Right, please correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, I believe this belongs to Microsoft. Okay, and then that's all. This is an open source, and the purpose of it is this one is it's just a code repository where group of developers can store, manage, and track this code repositories. Okay, and that too with the help of something called this is version controlling, and this is something really helpful for us so that we don't have conflict of code when many developers are trying to use same repository, same code in that team. Okay. So that is the idea, friends. Maybe you try to get it. So also this helps us what it helps us developers to work together, track changes, manage bugs, and improve projects. That is the advantage of GitHub here, friends. Okay. Right, fine. Let's quickly get to the key uses of GitHub. Version controlling, we have already discussed that. So version controlling means it try to provide versions for each time a developer try to check out the code. So in that way, we don't have conflict of changes. So suppose I am making some change, at the same time some other X might do some changes. So here to track my changes and the exchanges. So this version controlling is going to help us a lot. Got it right, friends? So that is the idea. It's like suppose if I try to check out, my version will be some 1.0. If some X try to check out, his version will be 1.1. And if Y try to check out, his version will be 1.2. By that, what happens is who is when someone check in again, so that code this thing will be updated there. So and also one more important thing is along with version your name everything will be there available. So if any issues comes with code, immediately we can point out whose code has issue, and based on that there will be a sense of responsibility with this kind of versioning, right? Otherwise I might create bugs in the code and it might fall into the somebody's plate. So and vice versa. So all this kind of mess up happens if you don't have proper version controlling, friends. You got it right. So that is what collaboration means. Group of people work together, like storing, like managing all that, making changes, everything. Then we call test collaboration, and this is open source, free of cost. And greatest advantage with big GitHub is issue tracking and project management. Definitely, this helps a lot actually, right? For issue tracking as well as project management. So that is fine. And you can also have this pipeline creation, continuous integration and deployment with GitHub. Okay. This is a kind of DevOps area where you use certain tools like Jenkins to implement the CI/CD pipelines. Okay. So maybe if possible, I'll also try to come up with scenario on Jenkins because nowadays not only DevOps people, even development people at least need this kind of basic knowledge. Okay, maybe if possible, I'll try to create some scenarios for this. I'm just only giving a high level quick idea because anyhow, most of us know about this or still to get some quick understanding. I'm quickly discussing this. Okay. Next, after the documentation, anyhow, lots of documentation is there with GitHub. You can just type GitHub documentation, or else just go to ChatGPT and ask everything about GitHub. It gives you plenty of information, right? So that's all. Even ChatGPT try to summarize it from official documentation implicitly. Okay. And also it helps as a portfolio for developers as well. Suppose all your work you can create a GitHub for yourself and you can push all your work to the GitHub. Tomorrow you can show all those projects which you have implemented to some as a portfolio to whomever you want. Okay, you might present it to some in some kind of webinars or in some kind of expos. Okay, expos means like this expos keep happening. You like that, right? Like that, even this helps a lot. And this is an open source. Even I have a GitHub account now, and we are pushing all our code into the GitHub. I shared that even with all of us. I hope this give you a quick idea, right? This is the GitHub, but only thing is, question is, so this is a quick understanding of GitHub, but I don't want to spend much time with this discussion. What I want is, I want you to practically understand how to create GitHub repositories, how to create GitHub account and GitHub repositories, how to apply all those steps with Git as well. So Git helps to us to connect with GitHub, and GitHub is something which stores data. So that is the idea, friends. Okay, so I'm using a paint here. Before I give some explanation here, how this works. What is this GitHub means? Simple, friends. I'm just don't worry about my drawing. I may not draw beautifully, but the concept is important here. Okay. Otherwise, I use these diagrams to create simple and easy. So this is a GitHub. Okay, where you can create account in that GitHub code repository, right? In this is a cloud platform or a web-based platform, whatever you can understand. What you can do here, you can create a repository again inside this. I'm creating a repository. See, likewise, you can create so many repositories. I just create one. Similarly, if you want, you can create one more. Similarly, if you want, likewise, you can create how many other repositories you want in a GitHub. Got it right, friends? And also you can assign number of people to each repository. If you are working using it for a real development, okay, then what you can do, you can mention number of people or how many people you are going to use this repository, all that. Right, anyhow, while creating GitHub repository, I'll show you, okay? Our GitHub account, when we create it, I'll show all this, just giving you a free details for better understanding and better usage of GitHub. So in this GitHub, once you create account, generally the first step with GitHub is, if you want to use any GitHub. So step one is you have to go to GitHub, no doubt about that. Just simply github.com, friends, nothing more than that. First thing is you should create an account. If you are using it for personal purpose, if you are using for any organization, there will be administrators. They take care of doing all this stuff. They just give you the link of that repository, or your manager or architect will do all this for you. You don't need to worry about it. Okay. You, for our general use, first thing you have to do is account, create account creation. That is step one. So once you create account, step two, create repository. Like just now I am showing here, create repos. Generally we can shortcut people call as repos. Okay. And you can create many repos. So if you ask me, what is that you can do? We can create how many ever you want, that many repos we can create it, friends. So this got stuck or something. So that is step. Just a minute, friends. Okay, I'll write here. So we can create multiple repos. We'll practically observe everything, but I'm giving you more detailed information. How many other repos you want, that many you create, but here we create one or two, that is enough. For understanding this later on, once you know the process, you can apply same repetitively for how many ever you want. Okay, that is one more thing. Next after that, so like here, I'm just naming this repos here. Suppose this is, if it is a real environment, they create repos like this with your project name. Suppose we are representing GNOME Tech, right? GNOME Tech, some I'm just giving it as a simple example. Underscore edu project, something like we are creating something like edu project, something like that. People create a project, right? So again, for each project, what you can do, so you can create multiple branches again inside that project, right? So easiest thing is simple thing is you can create a branch for prod. Okay. Similarly, just leave it like otherwise do one thing. I'll just make it simple. These are all different branches for each project. All right. So this is what happens. Don't worry about too much beautiness. I'm just trying to make it as good as possible with all my intermediate skills with paint. I think Pradeep has a lot of skills with paint, all that. He is a MS Office expert. Okay. So enough, friends. You can add more also. Right. So generally in real time, you have many environments. Okay. And you can create branches for each project. Okay. Something like, this is something like we can say this is a prod branch. Among all this, prod is very important and carefully handled branch. Okay. Next one, pre-prod, what we can call. One more is generally this terminology is common in any of the companies. Okay. Next after that is you have UAT. Next after that is I'll put at the right side here because I don't have enough space there. I create few more here for your learning so that tomorrow you face interviews without any hesitation. Okay. Right. To answer QA, and also you might have something called one more is dev environments. Generally, these are maybe in some companies depends on their architecture and design. You might have one or two more environments. Okay. So, and then dev environments. Likewise, for your projects, what you can do, you can create what do you like, a branch for each environment, right? You got it right. For prod, you can have a branch, and almost all these branches have similar code, but which is having highest level of security prod has. And even we start with dev first. Actually, first these people starts creating project and they try to build the code and do all that unit testing and push it to the repository. Right, and they create a dev branch and all that dev people uses dev branch for development and testing. Got it right? And from there again, who will take it up? It goes to QA people, right? And what QA people will do? Dev means development teams. Usually, I'll just giving you more information here. Development teams will keep using this. Okay. And after that, once these development teams means what they do, you already know that they develop code, they take requirements, develop code, and then once that is done, they do unit testing. And if they feels that everything is fine, they try to push that code into this repository like GitHub or Bitbucket or whatever it is. And they have dev branch for that. They push all their code into the dev branch. And this code is almost used by the all developers in that project, right? And like we don't have a separate branch for each developer. All developers uses the same branch, friends. You got it right. Similarly, next after that, once this guidance, these people do all that, it goes to the QA. Then here, this branch is used by QA people. QA means what? Testing people. And as most of you know that what, and this branch is exclusively used by testing people. Sometimes if you can, even dev people can access QA also or vice versa, it's fine. But usually this is dedicated for testing and the same code base is pushed from dev to this one, right? Just it's more or less copying the same thing here. Next after that, again, what happens? Another testing, UAT, user acceptance testing. Okay. So that is done. And for that people, that UAT people, the same code base is again, maybe I'll put it as something like testing 2. Okay. Similarly, once this testing is done, then again you might move to the pre-prod for better testing, okay, better analysis, better checking, all that. We try to push into the pre-prod and see the actual behavior of code, everything. So again, here also one more branch is created and it is pushed there. Okay. And here another kind of observation is done, okay, in the pre-prod by both developers and this thing. Or you can put it as testing also, testing 3. So they see if even here also it is working or working fine, everything. And finally, if all these branches, again, code is same code will be moved from dev, and from there it is again, it is cloned to QA, again cloned to UAT, again cloned to pre-prod. And finally, if all these phases are doing well, your code is pushed to which area? It is pushed to prod area, because this is something really very careful environment. The actual thing comes from here. The code sees out real world from here, right? So finally, deployment happens here after going through all these phases. So only thing, my point here is not talking about all this, but just giving you an idea. But if it is a repository like this for one project, what they do is they create branches like this, environment-wise branches. And first we have a copy of that project code in one environment. From there, it just keeps on moving from one environment to another environment. Almost all the code base between development and prod is almost same, right? Right. Technically, the code is almost same. Only difference is what? When it go to the prod, it is highly tested, and second thing, highly secured area is this. Not, and when once it is in prod means, so not everyone will have access to prod except read permissions, right? For a dev people, read and write permissions will be there for this branch. For QA people, read and write permissions will be there. They can read this project, write something to this project. For UAT, it will be there. For prod also, you can have read and write. Sorry, for pre-prod. But for prod, most of us don't have permissions to access this. We have only read permissions. What permissions, friends? Read permissions. Likewise, we can manage permissions of our project code in these repositories. Just keep this in mind, friends. So permissions are also important. Understood now? Similarly, if you want, you can create as many repositories you want, right? This is a project I am saying, right? In that, for that project, you can create multiple branches here. And for each branch, you can assign one repository. For prod, one repository, pre-prod, one repository, UAT, one repository, QA, one repository, dev, one repository. Likewise, we create it. We'll just simulate a scenario in our open source GitHub so that you have a broader idea about like GitHub and environments, all that. We just simulate. I'm not saying that we can exactly create something in real time, but we simulate it. But this discussion should give you some level of understanding, right? Likewise, if another project is there, I'm just giving you a project like this, okay? And in that, suppose another one, we have a new project, something. Now I have something related to artificial intelligence underscore AI belonging to NomTech. Then I create one more project, right? One more thing for this one. And for each, and again, we have multiple repositories for this project. Just only giving you project name. And under that, again, we can create each repository for one environment. Okay, we'll see all that with that. Likewise, you can create multiple projects with the multiple repositories. You got it right, friends. This is about what is all your code base comes and sit in these respective repositories here. Okay, this is the idea on high level, friends. Okay, but when we look at into the practical thing, this makes more sense to you, and your idea also get elaborated. Okay, so this is simple idea. Now, what is that I should do now? Let's go and create. These are the steps. First thing, if you want to work with GitHub, the first thing is always is what, friends? We need to simply go to first github.com. Let's do it now. And you have to log into GitHub. I already logged in because I created account. If you guys want to create account, simply first to do sign out. I'm just showing you. And then if you want, you can sign out from all accounts. And then you can sign up here. Click a sign up. It's a simple process. What is that? You have to enter your mail ID and continue. It will ask for password, enter that, and it will send a link to your email. Click on that link. It will ask you to set password and try to set password, and then sign up is done. That's all. As I already did sign up, I'm not doing it again. I'm trying to sign in back again. So what is that I need here? I need this one. I think I forgot password now. Okay, let me try to give a try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I doubt if I remember my password. Otherwise, I'll do one thing. Anyhow, it has this thing. Need to hubbo.com. I did a sign in. Okay, heck no. Okay. Mhm. So now I should enter password. Don't remember it much. Let me give it a try. Yeah, I'm succeeded. Finally, I entered username and password, and this is GitHub. This is the how it looked like. So much, right? Interesting. So this is actually, you can go to your profiles and see what is there in all that. Okay, that is fine. Now, if you want to create here, you can see always what you can do is you can create repositories here. I told you, right? So, so you can create project-wise repositories. So suppose I have a project like this. What is that? Where is the paint? One paint. My first project is this something edu project for NomTech. Then I can create how many repositories for this project? So that project slash one for prod, one for pre-prod, one for UAT, one for QA, one for dev. I just simplified by keeping a window like this. Okay. So now what I can do? So here you can create a repository. Simple, friends. Everything is simple. Simply you can just say NomTech. If it is NomTech, I'm creating that. For you, you can create something underscore. So we start with the dev. Okay. So edu underscore tech underscore dev neuron. So if you want to make it public or private, if it is something related to organization, always make it private because mine is open source again, even right? NomTech is open source, Manoram is open source. Means what? So we can put public. We are in service mode, so we can share all our information to the outside world. So if you want to do that, just put it public. But if it is organization, some companies are creating because this is used by even certain software companies as well. It's not like it is used only by individual people. Software companies also use this GitHub, okay? And that too, they purchase licenses as well for support everything, okay? So better create it as a public one. If it is, if you are, if you want to make it available to everyone, just say create repository. You can follow the steps here, friends, clearly. Then you can see here repository is created. Got it right, friends? So that's all. And then after that, we have repository in this thing. Once that is created, you can see here, right, friends? Even in real time also. Anywhere this concept is same, friends. Maybe the way we create it, it might differ. All this is done by the administrators in real time, or architect or manager, tech manager, or architects will do that. Generally, you don't go to Bitbucket or GitHub and you don't do all this setup. They do all that and share the simply they give you, you can see here. This is once I created my repository. Likewise, create for this project, create multiple repositories, one for QA, one for UAT, one for pre-prod, one for prod, like that. You can create multiple repositories, separate branch for each environment. That's how even real time works. You got it right. But in real time, what is that? All these are done by whom? All these are set up by the your system administrators. There will be GitHub administrators They will do all this, or there will be Bitbucket administrators. They do all this. You got it right. So similarly, if you want, you can create one more just for testing purpose. Okay, copying this again and keeping here. And then instead of dev, I put QA. Okay, again, I'm making it public and create a new repository. And again, another repository is created and you have that SSH link here. So this is the link which we need to, and this link is provided to all developers or whoever want to have access to this, to which one? To this repository. Even in real time also, it will be same, friends, trust me. They give you this link, and this link helps us to clone contents of this project repository. I'll show you all that, all that. Only thing is you need a little patience, and also you also do all this. Please by tomorrow, create a setup, create a GitHub and create an account for yourself and keep it ready. Okay. You got the steps right. Maybe if not, I need to upload few more videos. Some 2, 3 videos are pending and including this, I'll try to upload in the YouTube. So by Monday, what you do is and create a GitHub account. Oh, and then please also create some repositories and keep it ready. And then we'll try to integrate that with the PyCharm. All of us have PyCharm, right? So, and also we'll see how to push code from PyCharm to GitHub and also how to clone your project in PyCharm. We do all that steps. That is one level. Second level is we will also see a command mode of doing all this. Okay, another approach. So that's it, friends. We think we are already right. So today we'll stop here. We created a account and created repositories. Is there any difficulty here? I don't think so. This is very simple and straightforward. Okay. That's all, friends. I'll give you a few more important things, how really people work, what kind of things people uses when you work in a real environment. They create tokens, not just SSS links. Sometimes they also use token concept. How they generate those tokens, all that I'll discuss in the next session. Okay. Interesting.
Sir, repository name is optional, sir.
Repository name is not optional. It is a must.
I mean, it is related to project, right, sir?
Correct. Project. So in generally in real time, what they do is they try to create environment wise repositories. You got it right? Multiple branches for multiple environments. Suppose for dev one branch for that's what we did also, right? You got it right. This is one branch. This is one branch. This is one branch. Maybe I created one more. Let me just show you. This is one branch like that. This is how these branches look like where even in real environment. Okay, and they try to put code in that. I'll show you how code. Already we have code here in this. I pushed it. You can see this is how code will be created, and you have this master and all this is part of master branch here. And you try to clone it and get all this into your this thing. You got it, Tulsi?
Got it, sir.
So you can see here, I try to push all my code into this. This is how code will be posted into your repository. You can see here. We what all programs we did, you can see all that here, right? And this is committed by whom? By Tech. Of course, I did the commit, but it is after whom? Whomever the name that is there, the mail ID is whose mail ID is that? Tech mail ID. Then it is represented with that only. You got, and also this is the comment added by me. I can put committed by Manoram, but still I put Tech there. Okay, like that. Is this clear to you, Tulsi?
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Everything I try to be go very as slow as possible, as clear as possible, without any conflict or confusion. I hope you are okay with that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, friends.
Okay,
Maybe
sir.
I can.
Yeah, thank
Sorry.
you.
Yeah, please. Somebody is asking question.